Live from Pacific Ice Arena, getting a little bit of an early start here for Game 2 of the St. Louis Veterans Cup. We just watched the end of the Rockets playing the Northwest Chargers, and it was a good result for Kirkwood as the Rockets did defeat the Chargers by 2 goals. And so what that means for Kirkwood is that they can continue to root for the Rockets to win out, which would clear a direct path for Kirkwood to the championship game and set up a rematch against those Rockets. Of course, Kirkwood does have some work to do of its own ahead of that kind of scenario after dropping their first game of the tournament 6-4 to those Rockets last night. But because of that loss, Kirkwood now just needs to root for the Rockets to win out, give everybody else losses in the bracket, and that will be a clear path for Kirkwood to come in as the number 2 seed into the championship game. First up on that path, though, are the Chesterfield Falcons hosting this tournament. This facility in Pacific is one of their facilities, as is the Maryville University Hockey Center that we were at last night. Chesterfield beat the Chargers, the Northwest Chargers from Chicagoland. They beat them 2-0 last night. So they came into today tied with the Rockets atop of the group. And that's what I mean by Kirkwood having a clear path, though, is if Kirkwood wins this game, they will pull even with Chesterfield in the standings 1-1. And then if they can also defeat the Chargers tonight, like everybody else has, that would put Kirkwood at 2 wins and 1 loss. Then, of course, if the Rockets win out, they will be 3-0. And then that would mean the Rockets beating Chesterfield tonight. The Rockets would be 3-0. And if Kirkwood wins this game and the Chesterfield loses again to the Rockets, they would drop down to 1-2, and the Chargers would be at 0-3, making it a very clear path for Kirkwood into that championship game. However, if Kirkwood, even if they win this game, if Chesterfield goes on to beat the Rockets tonight, that could create a bit of a logjam up top with all 3 teams, Kirkwood, the Rockets, and Chesterfield, could all end up tied 2-1 if Chesterfield loses here and then wins tonight, and Kirkwood wins here and also wins against the Chargers. You would have 3 teams tied at 2-1, and then it would come down to goal differential. So we'll be watching the scoreboard not just for winners and losers, but also for how many goals we're scoring and how many goals we're giving up, because that goal differential could come into play. That's why it was important for Kirkwood to keep last night's loss to only 2 goal differential. You didn't see them pull the goalie late, and that's why, because if you pull the goalie and give up another goal, you're just digging yourself a deeper hole in that goal differential column. But we are underway, early start here for Game 2 of the Veterans Cup. Have a little bit different perspective for you tonight. Got a little bit of a perch up here high in Pacific. Don't have to shoot through the glass like I did last time we were here. It was a bit of a muddled picture, I know, so got a higher and more clear perspective for you. It does mean that the action at the far end of the ice might be a little bit tough to follow. Luckily, Kirkwood shoots twice down here. Hopefully, we'll see most of the action on our side of the rink in this first and third periods. Last night's game was a much different look from the Rockets than we saw in our preseason scrimmage against them. They looked much faster, more dangerous, and just a much more competitive team in general. Kirkwood does have a preseason scrimmage against these Falcons, and I'll be interested to see if they look any improved like the Rockets did, as Kirkwood gets it into the offensive zone here, causing some chaos in front of the crease. It is gathered in by the goalie. Kirkwood winning that scrimmage 3-1 at their home rink. in Kirkwood. They played most of their players out of position that game. A lot of their forwards playing on defense, a lot of their defenders playing up front. So that game, with a 3-1 win and everyone in their off position, feels like this should be a game Kirkwood can win when everyone is playing their best position. But you never know. It kind of makes me wonder if the Rockets did the same thing to Kirkwood, if we didn't see their best foot forward in our scrimmage and then they gave us their top lines here in the tournament. Not sure if Chesterfield is up to similar kind of tactics, and we're going to find out if this team looks significantly better than we did when they came to Kirkwood or not. But the difference in play from Rockets from the preseason scrimmage to the tournament action was very noticeable. It looked like almost a completely different team, honestly. So interested to see what we get out of Chesterfield. As Kirkwood dumps it in and goes for a change. So Chesterfield making a quick pass up, trying to catch Kirkwood on that change. They do get onto the ice in time. And here comes a breakaway. Liam Gale in on goal. Kick saved by the goalie. Keeps us scoreless. Nice break by Liam Gale there. He's got the puck again. Now behind the goal, into the corner. And Chesterfield takes it out. Turned over right across the blue line. Jaden's coming in. Shooting Jackson. He scores! The Jaden Jackson connection strikes again. Those brothers have connected for a handful of goals this year. They certainly know where they are on the ice, working together as brothers and teammates. Very tough duo to stop when they are on. So quick goal from Kirkwood gives them the early lead. Jaden and Jackson hooking up on the rush there. I will say the Lowery boys were a little bit quieter than normal last night. I found myself not saying Jackson's name as much as I usually do. He is the top goal scorer on this team and is usually gets his name called every shift on the ice. He is just a force for this team on the attack, but didn't find myself calling his name quite as much last night. Good to see him back in top form here early, because Kirkwood's going to need him today to power the offense and get them back on track for a championship appearance tomorrow. Kirkwood steals the puck in the end. Quick shot. It's turned aside, and Chesterfield heads up the ice. Kirkwood steals it back. No tripping there as that red jersey did fall down, but penalty is not called. Here comes some battle there in the neutral ice. Puck changing hands a few times. Kirkwood has it in their own end. They do clear out to neutral ice. Looked like Leo had a chance for a steal and a breakaway there. Does lose the handle. Goes back into Kirkwood's end. Again, Chesterfield controlling it at center ice, sending it in for icing, or not icing, offsides. So that will keep the face-off at neutral ice. 1-0 Kirkwood for those of you joining here after the early start. Rockets and Chargers wrapped up a little early, so got us on the ice a little early as well. We've got just under 9 minutes to go here in the first period. Jackson Lowery scoring the early goal for Kirkwood, giving them the 1-0 lead. As Chesterfield holds it in, Sends a long shot, now centered, and into the goal. Chesterfield answers, tying the game 1-1. Dangerous centering pass from the corner, got in front of the crease. Chesterfield puts it away, ties the game. Saw a lot of that last night where one team would score, the other would answer right back. Rockets did that to Kirkwood several times early in the game as they tried to build a lead, but found the Rockets equalizing rather quickly and then eventually taking the lead of their own as David chases it in, can't catch up to it before it's called for icing. So I don't know what is behind that trend, if it's just coincidence or variance, or if there's any bit of a let up in focus or energy after a goal, but the quick answers from the opponents is starting to be noticeable this weekend. As Kirkwood has it behind their own goal. Chesterfield taking it back, cycling it back in. Now out to neutral ice, where we have a whistle. I may try to zoom in a little bit when it's down there. Just makes it a little bit more difficult when they come quickly to our side. But we'll see what I can do with the camera as I call this thing. I know the view is a little tough when they're at that far end. Hopefully the action will be on our side a little bit more. As Kirkwood comes in, it's Liam Gale dangling down in deep, passing with Jaden. Now goes behind the goal. Chesterfield moving up the boards and out. Taking it end to end here. Stolen back though by Aaden Lam at the far end. Passing up ahead. Another pass through neutral ice. Good puck movement here from Kirkwood on the rush. Can't generate a shot with it, but I like the teamwork as they move the puck up the ice with several nice passes there, tape to tape. Puck comes through the slot, only red jerseys are there, and Kirkwood coming up again. He leaves it for Jaden, back to Jackson. Centering into the slot, broken up by the defense. Now, Chesterfield doing some passing of their own here as they try to navigate neutral ice. Trying the other side now. They do gain the blue line, but it comes right back out. Has to wait for his teammates to get onside and wasn't patient enough. So it is whistled. It looked like he was aware that he had teammates in the offensive zone. Just couldn't wait long enough though. And it is offsides. As Kirkwood steals it back at the blue line. Now dumping it in deep. Chesterfield takes it right back. And we've got some fighting in the corner. Now Chesterfield comes away, skating up. Gets a long, soft shot easily off of Rory's pads. Chesterfield still digging it out of the corner. Centering through the slot. No one got a stick to it. Now Kirkwood steals it back, coming with speed. That's Bryson on the puck. He loses it. Leo steals it back. Loose puck, top of the slot. Blake stepping up, shooting wide. Now Chesterfield does find the exit here. Kirkwood sends it right back out. Chesterfield going the other way. That's Blake on the puck. Pass is broken up, but it does get itself to Gavin. And now we've got Will Dunbar skating in and shooting, gloved by the goalie. So I did notice that was Blake and Gavin out on the ice together. They're still kind of tinkering with those defensive pairs. A lot of times it's Bodie and Blake, who were on the same Squirt A1 team last year. See them mixing up the first year and second year Peewees today. Usually Gavin pairs with Jacob on the other defensive line. As Chesterfield has it in deep now, winning it back in the corner. Centering, good defensive stick to break that up, and Kirkwood comes the other way, switching it, missing the mark though on the pass. Kirkwood gets it back, just fires it down the ice, off the boards and across the end line for icing. So 1-1 here after each team traded goals early in the first period. Jackson Lowery getting Kirkwood on the board first off a pass from his brother Jaden. But Chesterfield answering quickly after that. Shot coming in. I think it went wide. Not sure if it forced a save out of Rory. And now Kirkwood's defense disrupting things, and it comes out. Oh, looked like Jacob had a chance to get a stick to that for a break. He's wearing a practice jersey, I'm noticing. A couple of stars in practice jerseys rather than the game jerseys today. David can't chip it out. Held in by Chesterfield. Still digging it out of the corner, centering, but that was high off the ice as it went through the slot. Tough to deal with that one. And Chesterfield still holding it in, getting some good possession here. Not a ton of pressure necessarily, but a good sustained possession in the offensive zone on the shift for Chesterfield, as Kirkwood now has a chance to find the exit. They do. Up ahead to David. Doesn't have much to do with it there, and defense does steal it back. Sam switching directions, and Chesterfield gets out. Broken up by the defense. Kirkwood coming right back. Sam fights through it with a strong stick. Still trying to stick with it. Gavin supports him, but Chesterfield has it off the boards. And now skating ahead, gaining the blue line. Puck goes behind Kirkwood's goal, into the corner. Now slides out. This could get on goal, so no icing. It is covered. So fortunate bounce for Kirkwood for that clearance to get on goal. Instead of icing, bringing it back to the other side. We'll get an offensive zone face-off here as Liam Gale takes the draw for Kirkwood. And here comes Jaden picking up the puck, centering to Jackson. Again, they're going to try it again, this time off the pads, near post. Couple of good looks at goal from Kirkwood there. Jaden and Jackson again connecting on the attack. Can't finding the goal this time. But that was some good passing and a good look at goal there from Kirkwood, as they're going to try again. 2-on-2 coming up the ice. Jaden fires. It's blocked by the defense. And Blake will chase it back. He's got pressure coming behind him. Puck beats them both to the end line for icing. Bryson taking the draw for Kirkwood. He's on the puck in the circle. Now it goes into the corner. Chesterfield skating it. Now out. Kirkwood sending it right back in. That's Bryson again. Moving into the slot. Pass to Leo. Shot. It is blocked. Good save by the goalie. Leo had a great look after that pass from Bryson. That's the kind of action we want to see down here on our end this period, as we do approach 1 minute to go in the first frame. 1-1. As this game remains knotted up after the early goals. Both teams trading haymakers early here in the opening period. Chesterfield skating into the corner, tries to center it, and it's covered by Rory. So we did have the early start. Those of you joining us here at the normal time, we had Jackson Lowery getting the first goal of the game on a pass from his brother Jaden. Chesterfield answered right back a few minutes later for the equalizer, and we stay 1-1, approaching the end of the first frame here, as Chesterfield trying to navigate their own zone. Now getting it up to neutral ice and into Kirkwood's side. 20 seconds to go. Long shot goes behind the goal. Chesterfield holds it in at the point. Weak slapper goes to the end boards. Now out and centered, but not handled in the slot. And the puck comes out to neutral ice. And that's the end of the first period, 1-1. After the early goals from each team. So Chesterfield is showing some toughness here against Kirkwood. Like I said, the first look we got at this Chesterfield team was the 3-1 victory for Kirkwood in the preseason scrimmage. Kirkwood playing out of position almost across the board that entire game. Defensemen up front, forwards on the D-line. So we gave up a healthy portion of odd man rushes to Chesterfield in that game. Rory doing her best work to keep the damage to 1 goal. But with everyone back in their normal spots, I was expecting a very strong showing against Chesterfield, unless, of course, they did the same thing to us. But it's been pretty even play and a lot more action at the far end in the first period than I was hoping to see. And we switch sides. So now we'll hope that that action does stay at the far end this period. But here comes Chesterfield. It looked like they had some speed, but it was offsides. Kirkwood will need wins in this game and this evening to have a clear chance at the championship game. This 1-1 score will not do it for them after dropping last night's tournament opener against the Rockets. The puck comes back across the end line for icing. So they'll take it to the other end. Kirkwood did have a few good moments beyond just the goal in that first frame. Couple of shifts where there was some nice passing in the offensive zone. Generate some really grade A chances. Good looks at the goal. Couldn't crack the code for another one. But hoping to see more sustained versions of that, not just flashes. And here's a penalty against Kirkwood. That's going to be against Bryson. Looks like they're calling a cross-check. We didn't have any penalties in the game last night. For as fast-paced and competitive and contentious as it was kind of surprising to see the penalty boxes remain empty on both sides. But we've got our first penalty here, so first power play of the game for Chesterfield. First penalty kill chance for Kirkwood of both this game and the weekend. As Gavin fights for it here in the corner. Chesterfield loses it. And now there's a hard check. Sorry, I didn't get that on camera. There was a very hard hit from behind in the corner. So that's going to bring us 4-on-4. And the face-off will go to the other end. So Bryson called for the first penalty. He's got a minute left in the box. And now Chesterfield for the check into the boards from behind will send us 4-on-4, and then Kirkwood will get half a minute of power play time when Bryson comes out of the box. Bodie has to chase it back into Kirkwood's end, passes up to David. He skates across the blue line, looks for another pass. It's broken up as he crossed it to the other side. And Bodie's chasing it back again here. 35 seconds left on Bryson's penalty. As Chesterfield sets up a shot, Rory can't get a glove to it, just has to use her pads. Rebound goes into the corner. Chesterfield shooting again, it goes high off the glass, doesn't hit the net. So we continue to play. And Kirkwood has 11 seconds left on the penalty until Bryson comes out to give them a 30-second abbreviated power play. Shot coming. Stand-up save by the Chesterfield goalie. And Bryson is now out of the box as Kirkwood returns to full strength. So they will have 31 seconds of power play time here, starting with an offensive zone face-off. So big shift coming for Kirkwood on this face-off here. But Chesterfield does win it and skates out, coming in shorthanded. Does get a weak backhand shot off. It is blocked before it gets to Rory. And now Chesterfield winning the puck back at center ice, comes back in off sides. So not the chance Kirkwood was hoping to get with that 30 seconds of power play. It comes for an offensive attack shorthanded for Chesterfield instead. Now Kirkwood still with 12 seconds of power play time left. David, no, that's Blake on the boards there. Big pile up of players going to kill off this penalty time as Chesterfield now returns to full strength. Both sides skating 5-on-5. Puck squirts loose out to Gavin, playing center field for Kirkwood there on the back line. And now Sam Hughes skates forward, looking for a pass. Still has it in the corner. Centers. Kirkwood back on the puck. That's Jacob turning it around. Bounces behind the goal. Pass back to the point. That's Gavin. Wrists it forward. Blocked by Chesterfield. Gavin sticks with it. Gets it in deep. Chesterfield takes it back and now is skating through the center line. They dump it in. Chesterfield trying to dig it out of the corner. Deep pinch coming from the defenseman. Battling for it on those far boards. Now Jacob takes it out from behind his own goal, but blocked and held in by Chesterfield. Makes a move into the slot. Shooting, scoring! Chesterfield takes their first lead of the game, 2-1. Turnover at the top of the slot, makes a nifty move through traffic, and at that point, got a great look at the goal. Just the exact spot you want to be on the ice to take a shot like that, and doesn't miss. So Chesterfield, after falling behind 1-0 early, has battled back now with a 2-1 lead, and here they come again. Another move as Bodie lays out. Rory with the save dangerous moment quickly for Chesterfield after their go-ahead goal. Bodie just laying out on the ice to break up the attack. Rory getting a glove to it as well, keeping the Chesterfield Falcons within 1 goal. Kirkwood needs to get it going here. I would say Chesterfield has had the better showing of this game so far, even beyond the score. They are the ones sustaining pressure and possession, much more so than Kirkwood today. So Liam passes it forward. Now Jackson losing it to Jaden on the wing. Battling for the puck. Kirkwood has it still in the corner. Jackson down to Jaden, back to Jackson, to Jacob at the point. Shot goes wide. That's Aaden Lam on defense, not Jacob. And both of them wearing the practice jersey. Was confusing me there. But they do get a shot on goal that is held by the goalie, so both teams go for a change. Getting ready for this next offensive zone face-off for Kirkwood. Winning the draw. Chesterfield sends it out to neutral ice. Gavin is there. Bounces it off the boards into the zone, but Chesterfield coming right back out. Broken up by Blake. And now Bryson skates back to it. Finds a pass up ahead to Leo. He's skating with Will on his wing. Takes it himself, now gets it to Will. Puck comes loose. And Chesterfield's coming with speed the other way. Gavin on defense. Holds the corner. Loose puck in the low slot. Now Rory covers. So Gavin doing a good job preventing the Falcon forward from turning the corner on him. So instead of skating in on goal, had to pass, centering it to a teammate. Was a little loose there for a moment, but Rory does sprawl out and get a glove to it. 6:47 left here in the second stanza. 2-1 Chesterfield as they win the puck off the draw. Aaden behind his own goal, sends it up and out, but only white jerseys are there. Now Jacob supporting the puck in neutral ice. Chesterfield, Aaden winning it back. Skating with speed forward. Digging it out of the low boards. Now Chesterfield fighting forward but offsides. So Aaden getting some time on the D-line today. That's what's mixing up the defensive pairs that I was noting earlier. Aaden kind of a two-way player, can play forward or defense and just has explosive speed in either case. I do kind of like a player like that coming off the back line, because if he feels like he has the green light to explode forward on a turnover, that can be very dangerous. As Chesterfield wins it in the corner, lifts it high over the goal. Now Aaden wins it back, but it goes loose to Chesterfield. Top of the slot, wrister coming in, bounces to the end boards, centering, loose. Now Kirkwood gets on the puck. That's Jacob, and now Bodie. Chesterfield has it back, dangling into the low slot. I think that caught some iron off the crossbar, deflecting high into the back netting. So Chesterfield looking dangerous on the forecheck there. Puck changed hands a couple times. Chesterfield stuck with it and got a good look at goal. Did, I think, tick that off the crossbar. 5:24 left here in the second period. As Kirkwood gets it up. That's Jaden skating forward with it. Putting on the brakes, centering to Liam. Liam back on the puck. Shoots it to the end boards. Battle for it back there. Now in the corner. Both teams fighting for it. Chesterfield comes away with it. And sticks with it through traffic. Coming in. Can't turn the corner on the Kirkwood defense. He goes down though, and I think we're going to have another penalty. Yes, the referee is signaling the same call against Jaden that they made against Bryson. So I believe that's the interference signal, not cross-checking. Interference on Bryson and now on Jaden. So Chesterfield will get its second power play of the game. Although their first one was abbreviated as they took their own penalty 30 seconds into Bryson's infraction. And Kirkwood skating shorthanded, shooting it wide of the goal into the corner. Chesterfield coming out. And Kirkwood still shorthanded, coming back for more. Great shift here, shorthanded from Kirkwood as Gavin backhands it back into neutral ice. Now Chesterfield comes in. Good block with the skate. Good effort from Kirkwood here on this penalty kill. Now Jackson skating forward, finds Jaden, back to Jackson. Can't get the handle on it. Held in at the point, long shot coming, goes to the end boards. And Chesterfield finding itself pinned in on the power play, just shoots at the length of the ice. This is going to be icing against the team with the extra man. So big penalty kill, and not just a kill from Kirkwood. They're getting some pressure shorthanded here with 24 seconds left on the penalty against Jaden. Really good shift from Kirkwood there. Looking like the more dominant team, even down a man. As they win the draw and get a quick shot on goal. It's covered by the goalie, so clock ticks down to 20 seconds left on the power play for Chesterfield, even as Kirkwood takes another shorthanded draw in the offensive zone. Scrambling for it into the corner, Kirkwood on the puck. Back out to the point, that's Aaden. He puts a soft shot, it's blocked in the slot, and now comes the power play. 3 seconds left of the extra man for Chesterfield. Kirkwood returns to full strength as Chesterfield gets it in deep here, making a move in the corner, lifting it over the slot, and Will picks it up there, skates with some speed down the boards, tries to sneak past, and there's the penalty call. As I believe that will also be interference. Yes, another interference call. Will pushing the puck past the defender, trying to skate around him. Kind of got a little bit of a hip from the Falcon, and that is interference. So now, after a very impressive penalty kill, Kirkwood will go on the man advantage of their own for a minute and a half here. Passing out to the point, getting it deep. It is deflected as in the slot. Now Leo fighting for it. Here comes Chesterfield, little one-on-one, shorthanded. Coming in close, deflected off the stick and into the goal. Shorthanded goal for Chesterfield. One-on-one break for the Falcons. And they make the most of it. The shot deflected off the defenseman's stick and squirted past Rory into the goal. Falcons take a 3-1 lead. And now Kirkwood, still on the power play for just over a minute, is up against it here. Behind the 8 ball, I guess, is the cliche metaphor, as they are down by 2 goals with already 1 loss in the L column from last night. If they have any intentions of making that championship game, they're going to have to turn things around here quickly with 2.5 minutes left in the second period. 1 minute left on their power play. Centering, shooting, scoring. There's the quick answer that Kirkwood needed. Believe, trying to wait for him to turn around and show me that number. That was Jacob from the wing. Looked like it might have just been a centering pass. Ended up being a shot into the back of the net. And that is the power play quick answer goal Kirkwood needed after giving up a shorty. Hard shot coming in from the wing down here from Chesterfield, trying to answer just as quickly, but Rory is up to the task, keeps it out. So Jacob firing in the answer for Kirkwood on the power play, gets his second goal of the season. Chesterfield gets it in, and now it's in the back of the net. Turnaround shot from the top of the slot. Wasn't sure if he was trying to get that on goal or just trying to get the puck down low to a teammate. Either way, it bounces off traffic and deflects into the goal past Rory. So just as quickly as Kirkwood answers on the power play to get the 1 goal back, Chesterfield comes down and retakes their 2-goal advantage. Shot comes in high, stand-up save by Rory. So 4-2 Chesterfield, as 3 goals in maybe less than a minute's time there. 2 of those by Chesterfield on either side of the Kirkwood's power play goal by Jacob. And here comes Jackson skating, shooting. A little bit of a quick trigger there from Jackson. It looked like he was behind the defense. Maybe had a chance to skate in a little bit closer in on goal before firing that shot. In the end, it wasn't much danger for the goalie. .144 left here in the second period. Kirkwood winning the draw, centering it, can't get the handle. Holding it in is Blake, shooting it well wide. Gavin sends it back down deep. Centering, shooting, loose. It stays out. Now in the corner, Blake centering again, firing it through the crease, but to the far boards. And now that's Jackson cycling in behind. Liam skating in, passing to the other side, pass back. Oh, a little bit tic-tac-toe. Couldn't finish it. Chesterfield clears it. You see Kirkwood making that extra pass a couple times today. They like that. It looks like a give and go, but it's really 3 players combining, switching sides with the puck twice. Sometimes it feels like they might need to shoot it after that first pass, but they like to make that second pass back to the original side. And it does leave a wide open net most of the time when they can execute it. Couldn't get it in there, but great teamwork deep in the offensive zone as Chesterfield skates it behind their own net. 35 seconds left here. Kirkwood takes it back. That's Aaden navigating the offensive zone. Stepping up, centering, backhand shot, loose. Still scrambling on the side of the net. 18 seconds left in the second period. Now Chesterfield's just going to clear it off the boards. Aaden gets to it quickly. Coming back in, 8 seconds left here. And Chesterfield skates it out. And that should do it for the second period. So some good pressure by Kirkwood to close out that period. Couldn't get it back, but like to see that. We need to see more of that out of the Stars. Not enough of that so far today as they trail 4-2 at the second intermission. Chesterfield taking a 3-1 lead on a short-handed goal in that second period. Kirkwood answering right back very quickly, still on the power play. Jacob getting his second goal of the season from the wing there. Makes it 3-2, keeping Kirkwood within one, but almost just as quickly as Jacob answered the shorthanded goal, Chesterfield answers right back with the full strength tally of their own, and it's 4-2 heading here into the final frame. Kirkwood will be shooting on our side. Hopefully the action stays down here for you. As we'll need some late fireworks out of the Stars to keep their championship hopes alive. Chesterfield shooting into Roy's glove, and if Kirkwood can't rally back here, Kirkwood is pretty much looking at back-to-back games against the Chargers. They've got the first one tonight, and then if they go into that game already with 2 losses, and the Chargers already having 2 losses as well, then both games tonight will just be a dress rehearsal for tomorrow, as Kirkwood needs 3 goals here to kind of avoid that scenario. Powering through is Jackson. Can't catch up to the puck, and it is covered. Jackson trying to fight through traffic on his own through the slot. Puck does squirt loose ahead of him to the goalie who covers. We'll get an offensive zone face-off. Jackson winning it again, shooting, but just wide. Chesterfield digging it out behind the goal. Liam winning it back, centering, still loose. It's on the goal line, and now covered. Good pressure from Kirkwood there. Won the puck back several times. Puck did squirt loose behind the goalie, just on the wrong side of the goal line. Goalie did eventually find it and cover. We stay 4-2. Kirkwood again stealing it. Nice look at the goal. Kick saved by the goalie. So this is what Kirkwood needs to do, sustaining that end of the second period pressure. They've carried it over here into the third, but they need to start being paid off for that effort, and quickly. I haven't totally thought through the tie scenarios for Kirkwood, but after taking a loss, they really need a win here, not a tie. So 3 goals is the order. Let's see if they can at least get 1 to start it. And it comes loose, and it's in the goal! Bryson, right on cue, buries the loose puck, bouncing in front of the crease, gets a stick to it. Top shelf for Bryson on the rebound. And Kirkwood cuts into that lead, 4-3. Now needing 2 more goals to get that win, as the intensity has really stepped up from Kirkwood here at the end of that second period. And now here into the third, much better sustained possession and pressure in the offensive zone as here they come again. Loose in front of the goalie. Sticked away. Here comes support from Gavin, centering into the low slot. Still loose. Now covered. And that's the pressure I'm talking about that Kirkwood needs to sustain. They had a couple of grade A chances there. Looks at the goal in very high danger areas. Keep that up and the goals will continue to come. As David chases it into the corner, centering! Loose! Can't lift it. Oh, that puck came back to David on the near post. He needed to get it into the air to get it over the goalie. Couldn't quite lift the puck, so it stays out. Great centering pass out of the corner from David there. Puck comes back to him in a favorable spot as here comes Jacob pushing ahead. And Chesterfield steals it back. So Kirkwood really coming alive here late. Hopefully it will not be too little too late as they still trail by 1 goal. And Chesterfield trying to get an attack going at the other end. Puck goes off the side netting. Kirkwood has it and looking to start a rush here. Picked off at center ice. And Chesterfield has a 2-on-none. And they shoot it into the goal. Really bad turnover for Kirkwood on the exit. Looked like they had a chance to set up a rush of their own coming out of their own zone. The pass was picked off just inside the blue line, and Chesterfield had the 2-on-none rush. Didn't even need his teammate though. Took it himself, fired it into the top corner for the goal, pushing the lead back out to 2. 5-3 Chesterfield, and Kirkwood is back in deep. Now needing 3 goals here in the final 9.5 minutes to get the much needed win as they trail by 2. Tie probably will not do it for them. As here comes Jackson, blocker save. There's a good look. Chesterfield going the other way, shooting in close, going over everything. Another shot in close, turned aside to the boards. And here comes Jaden with speed. Skates around 1 defender, lays it off, shot, saved. Nice little rush from Jaden there, dropping the puck off to his teammate. Goalie was up to the task on the shot though. Bryson taking the face off for Kirkwood, winning it back to Bodie. Shot is blocked. Chesterfield skating behind their own goal. Up the boards, held in by Liam. Centering. Leo can't get to it. Aaden now shooting. It sneaks wide. Will on the puck to Bodie at the point. Bryson chases it down in the corner, switches it, wrapping it around the boards to Will on the far side. Chesterfield steals it back. They exit the zone, but Kirkwood back on the puck, coming back for more. Skating through, that's Aaden Lam. He slips it in for the goal. Aaden Lam stealing the puck on Chesterfield's exit. He had a little bit more traffic to skate through than Chesterfield did, but does navigate that well. Gets the goalie moving one way, backhands it the other. It kisses off the post and into the goal. Kirkwood cutting that lead down to 1. Once again, 5-4 now. Chesterfield leading 7:49 left in the game. Chesterfield coming in close, shooting, missing. Getting back on the puck as Kirkwood can't find the exit. Chesterfield behind the goal, centering into the slot now, dropping it to the point, can't handle it. They do keep it in and get it in deep. Kirkwood had a fleeting moment there to make it through. As they'll try again, still can't get out. Chesterfield getting it in deep again from the point. Still battling for it on those boards. Kirkwood defense now just clearing it. It won't make it to the end line for icing. So here comes Kirkwood's forecheck. That's David. That Jacob now, and Blake chases it back, does keep it in, cycles it in deep. Here comes Sam crashing into the corner. Chesterfield does make the exit pass. Trying to turn the corner. Picked off by Kirkwood. Battle for it on those boards. 6.5 minutes to go. Kirkwood trailing by 1. Really needing 2 goals here to get the win. A star goes down. The referee's hand goes up. So we've got more interference. That is the call of the day today for both teams. Multiple interference penalties as Kirkwood will go on a power play here with 6:16 left in the game. Big shift coming for Kirkwood as they win the draw. Bodie loading up. Blocked. Gets it down deep. Here comes the forecheck from Sam. No, that's Jackson. Now behind the goal, Jackson still trying to dig it out. In the corner, more forecheck pressure. Kirkwood winning it back, centering, back to the passer. That's Jackson. And Jaden again trying to connect. Out just beyond the face-off circle, long shot, gloved by the goalie. You see that passing in the offensive zone from Jaden and Jackson. That's what led to the first goal of the game. Trying to recreate some of that magic as Liam Gale skates into the face-off circle for Kirkwood. Puck goes back to Aaden at the point. Bodie steps up, does make a nice mid-ice pinch. And Bodie loads up a long wrister, goes off the glove, but not into the goal. And Jaden battling for it out of the corner. Chesterfield does work it to neutral ice. And now into Kirkwood's end. I have been encouraged by how much the puck has been down here on our side this period. That's the possession and pressure Kirkwood needs. Got to keep it going though. Still down by 1. Centering to Liam. Deflected off a skate and into the goal! Jackson Lowery, his second goal of the game. He scored the first one and now ties the game 5-5. Kirkwood really battling back here. They've been down by 2 goals multiple times. They find the equalizer they needed. Jackson Lowery picking up the loose puck, putting it into the upper corner. 4:40 left in the game. Kirkwood could really use one more to get the much needed win to keep their path to the championship alive. It's loose. Oh, it's in the goal! Kirkwood takes the lead back. What a rally from these Kirkwood Stars. Ramping up the possession and pressure here. It started late in the second period. They carried that momentum here into the third, and it's been all Kirkwood Stars as they rally back from multiple 2-goal deficits and finally break through to retake the lead. Jackson Lowery did get the first goal of the game, giving Kirkwood a very early 1-0 lead. Chesterfield answered back very quickly, and it stayed 1-1 through the end of that first period. And then again, the teams traded goals. 3 goals coming within a matter of minutes. 2 Chesterfield scores on either side of a Kirkwood power play goal. Chesterfield scoring the first of those 3 shorthanded just after Kirkwood had a very strong shorthanded shift of their own. Stars didn't score on that, then went on a man advantage, and Chesterfield got a quick goal down 1 on the ice. Kirkwood finished off their power play with another goal. That was Jacob Schultz scoring from the wing, but then Chesterfield came right back. There's been a lot of that quick scoring after 1 goal. There's usually another coming very soon. As Chesterfield now cycling it in the offensive zone, it slips wide of the goal. Kirkwood now ahead 6-5. 4 minutes to play. And a win here keeps everything alive for them as far as their goals this weekend. They did drop their first game of the tournament last night, but with the Rockets, who beat them there, winning again this morning against the Northwest Chargers, everything is in play for Kirkwood as they can finish off the win here and avoid a tie. That's job number 1. And if they can extend their lead, building up some goal differential would be very helpful, because if Chesterfield were to go on and beat the Rockets tonight, it could create 3 teams at 2-1 logjam. 3 teams for 2 spots, tied at 2-1. In that case, goal differential would come into play. So the work is not done for Kirkwood here. 3.5 minutes to go. At the very least, need to keep this 1 goal advantage to finish off the win. Ideally, adding on and getting at least back to even in the goal differential column after they lost by 2 last night to the Rockets. Here comes Kirkwood. You also want to see them just generally sustain this energy and effort and possession and pressure as they've been chasing most of this game. Now that they're back in the lead, you want to see them keep their foot on the gas. Back out to Jackson. He loses the puck. Chesterfield can't find the exit. Jackson just sends a long floater deep in. Chesterfield takes it right back, skates it out. We have a whistle at center ice. So beyond any additional scoring from either side, that's what I'm mostly watching here. Can Kirkwood keep up the pressure even after they've taken the lead? As Bryson skating strongly in on goal, but loses the puck there. Chesterfield going the other way, has a little bit of space through center ice. In deep. Kirkwood coming out. Chasing it down, getting to it, skating in. Kick save by the goalie. Great effort there. And Bryson, Bulldog Bryson, just a wrecking ball in deep on the forecheck. He's got to get out of the zone though. as Chesterfield loses the puck in Kirkwood's end. Squirts out to center ice. Chesterfield back on it. 1:42 left in the game. Kirkwood winning 6-5. Still seeing who can take over here in the neutral zone. Trading hands both ways. Now it squirts loose. No icing. Here comes the Kirkwood forecheck. That's David. Chesterfield skating it out. 1:16 to go. Battling for it along the boards. Both players go to the ice. Jacob seeing what he wants to do with this puck. And now a whistle. And we have a trip called. Must have been away from the play. I didn't see what happened there. Jacob just had the puck all alone with some space. And the play was whistled dead. Looks like they're coming down here though. So yes, the penalty clock does go up on Chesterfield's side of the scoreboard. So Kirkwood's gonna finish this game on the power play. 1 minute exactly left on the game clock. David has it on the wing, centers it, but only white jerseys are there. Chesterfield skating it out uncontested here, shorthanded. Not sure why there wasn't more resistance from the power play unit on that exit. Chesterfield does have it shorthanded in deep on the other end. 30 seconds left to go. Kirkwood on the man advantage, but without the puck. Now they win it back. That's Gavin going behind his own goal. Has some space. Bounces it off the boards and out, but Chesterfield coming right back in. And they skate in offsides. This is a very disorganized power play from Kirkwood to finish the game. They don't look like they really know what they want to do, as it feels like they're just trying to kill the clock, but it's taken all of their aggressiveness away. And so they have found themselves on the back foot, even up a man advantage in this final minute of play. Chesterfield showing the urgency, down by a goal. And they win the draw in the Kirkwood zone. 7 seconds left. Big pile up of players on the boards. 2 seconds left. And there's the buzzer. Kirkwood does escape with the essential win. And it was an adventure, folks, to get there. The Stars falling behind by 2 goals at multiple points in this game, chasing it for most of it. They did score the first goal of the game. Jackson and Jaden hooking up for the brotherly connection on the first goal. Chesterfield answered right back, tied at 1-1. And then Kirkwood never saw the lead again until late here in the third period. And you really saw a different level of energy and effort and execution from the Stars late in that second period and into the third. It looked like they just hit a different gear, really. And what was a game that was spent mostly in their own zone turned around, and Kirkwood started to have the upper hand in the possession and pressure. Like I said, in those final few shifts of the second period, really ramping that up and able to sustain it through the end of the third period. Would have liked to see a much better power play to end that game, not even necessarily asking for a goal, just more organization, more clarity, more aggressiveness. It looked like they just wanted the game to end and didn't know how to get there. But they do escape with the win, and I was just really admiring the effort level here to come back, fight through a multiple goal deficit on multiple occasions. They really found that extra gear, the extra level of effort for the Kirkwood Stars to pull off the comeback victory. and it keeps their championship hopes alive. So what we've got for tonight is Kirkwood will play the Northwest Chargers from the Chicagoland area. That team is 0-2, losing their first games to Chesterfield and the Rockets. So the Rockets will play Chesterfield, and that is a game where the Rockets go into the game 2-0. Chesterfield is 1-1, just like Kirkwood. So ideally for Kirkwood, the Rockets beat Chesterfield, Kirkwood beats Northwest. Everything is clean. Rockets go in as the 1 seed. Kirkwood goes in as a 2 seed. And it's just as easy of a draw as you can imagine. If Chesterfield beats the Rockets, that's when things get messy. Because if Chesterfield beats the Rockets, they both end 2-1. And then assuming Kirkwood would beat Northwest Chargers, which is the essential ingredient here for them to get through, that would leave them at 2-1. So you'd have 3 teams at 2-1, only 2 championship spots available. At that point, it becomes a question of goal differential. Kirkwood will go into the evening -1 on goal differential. So they will really need to put the pedal to the floor tonight against the Chargers, because a win may not be enough to get them through to the championship if Chesterfield beats the Rockets. And in that scenario, Kirkwood's going to need a multi-goal win to get on the positive side of goal differential. So that's why we're really rooting for the Rockets to beat Chesterfield tonight. Makes it a much cleaner path for Kirkwood for that rematch that they very much want against the Rockets in the championship game. I know yesterday's game was very closely contested, back and forth, end-to-end action, and I know, talking to David, he wants a rematch. He wants to see those Rockets again. They've got work to do tonight, first against the Chargers, but if they can pull that game off and the other game goes well for them as too, they will get the rematch they desire, and we'll be back here at noon for the championship game. But first, 7:50 tonight, Northwest Chargers back at Maryville. We'll be live on the call from this YouTube channel. Until then, we say goodbye from Pacific.